When you're depressed, you can't just will yourself to snap out of it. Depression drains your energy, hope, and drive, making it difficult to take the steps that will help you feel better. Sometimes, just thinking about the things you should do to feel better, like exercising or spending time with friends, can seem exhausting or impossible to put into action. The things that help the most are the things that are the most difficult to do. There's a big difference, however, between something that's difficult and something that's impossible. While recovering from depression isn't quick or easy, you do have more control than you realize. Even if your depression is severe and stubbornly persistent, the key is to start small and build from there. You may not have much energy, but drawing on all your reserves, you should have enough to take a walk around the block, or pick up the phone to call a loved one, for example. Taking the first step is always the hardest, but going for a walk or getting up and dancing to your favorite music, for example, is something you can do right now, and it can substantially boost your mood and energy for several hours, long enough to put your second recovery step into action, such as preparing a mood-boosting meal or arranging to meet an old friend. By taking the following small but positive steps day by day, you'll soon lift the heavy fog of depression and find yourself feeling happier, healthier, and more hopeful again. Getting support plays an essential role in overcoming depression. On your own, it can be difficult to maintain a healthy perspective and sustain the effort required to beat depression. At the same time, the very nature of depression makes it difficult to reach out for help. When you're depressed, the tendency is to withdraw and isolate, so that connecting to even close family members and friends can be tough. You may feel too exhausted to talk, ashamed at your situation, or guilty for neglecting certain relationships. But this is just the depression talking. Stay connected to other people, and taking part in social activities will make a world of difference in your mood and outlook. Reaching out is not a sign of weakness, and it won't mean you're a burden to others. Your loved ones care about you and want to help. And if you don't feel that you have anyone to turn to, it's never too late to build new friendships and improve your support network. In order to overcome depression, you have to do things that relax and energize you. This includes following a healthy lifestyle, learning how to better manage stress, setting limits on what you're able to do, and scheduling fun activities into your day. While you can't force yourself to have fun or experience pleasure, you can push yourself to do things, even when you don't feel like it. You might be surprised at how much better you feel once you're out in the world. Even if your depression doesn't lift immediately, you'll gradually feel more upbeat and energetic as you make time for fun activities. Pick up a former hobby or a sport you used to like. Express yourself creatively through music, art, or writing. Take a day trip to a museum, the mountains, or the ballpark. Look for support from people who make you feel safe and cared for. The person you talk to doesn't have to be able to fix you. They just need to be a good listener, someone who listens attentively and compassionately without being distracted or judging you. Make FaceTime a priority. Phone calls, social media, and texting are great ways to stay in touch, but they don't replace good old-fashioned in-person quality time. The simple act of talking to someone face-to-face about how you feel can play a big role in relieving depression and keeping it away. Try to keep up with social activities, even if you don't feel like it. Often, when you're depressed, it feels more comfortable to retreat into your shell, but being around other people will make you feel less depressed. Find ways to support others. It's nice to receive support, but research shows you get an even bigger mood boost from providing support yourself. So find ways, both big and small, to help others. Volunteer, be a listening ear for a friend, do something nice for somebody. Care for a pet. While nothing can replace the human connection, pets can bring joy and companionship into your life and help you feel less isolated. Caring for a pet can also get you outside of yourself and give you a sense of being needed, both powerful antidotes to depression. Join a support group for depression. Being with others dealing with depression can go a long way in reducing your sense of isolation. You can also encourage each other, give and receive advice on how to cope, and share your experiences. In order to overcome depression, you have to do things that relax and energize you. This includes following a healthy lifestyle, learning how to better manage stress, setting limits on what you're able to do, and scheduling fun activities into your day. While you can't force yourself to have fun or experience pleasure, you can push yourself to do things, even when you don't feel like it. You might be surprised at how much better you feel once you're out in the world. Even if your depression doesn't lift immediately, you'll gradually feel more upbeat and energetic as you make time for fun activities. Pick up a former hobby or a sport you used to like. Express yourself creatively through music, art, or writing. Take a day trip to a museum, the mountains, or the ballpark. When you're depressed, just getting out of bed can seem like a daunting task, let alone working out. But exercise is a powerful depression fighter and one of the most important tools in your recovery arsenal. Research shows that regular exercise can be as effective as medication for relieving depression symptoms. It also helps prevent relapse once you're well. To get the most benefit, aim for at least 30 minutes of exercise per day. This doesn't have to be all at once, and it's okay to start small. A 10-minute walk can improve your mood for 2 hours. Your fatigue will improve if you stick with it. Starting to exercise can be difficult when you're depressed and feeling exhausted, but research shows that your energy levels will improve if you keep up with it. Exercise will help you feel energized and less fatigued, not more. Find exercises that are continuous and rhythmic. The most benefits for depression come from rhythmic exercise, such as walking, weight training, swimming, martial arts, or dancing, where you move both your arms and legs. Add a mindfulness element, especially if your depression is rooted in unresolved trauma or fed by obsessive negative thoughts. Focus on how your body feels as you move, such as the sensation of your feet hitting the ground, or the feeling of wind on your skin, or the rhythm of your breathing. Pair up with an exercise partner. Not only does working out with others enable you to spend time socializing, it can also help to keep you motivated. Try joining a running club, taking a water aerobics or dance class, seeking out tennis partners, or enrolling in a soccer or volleyball league. Take a dog for a walk. If you don't own a dog, you can volunteer to walk homeless dogs for an animal shelter or rescue group. You'll not only be helping yourself, but also be helping to socialize and exercise the dogs, making them more adoptable. Challenge negative thinking. Do you feel like you're powerless or weak? That bad things happen and there's not much you can do about it? That your situation is hopeless? Depression puts a negative spin on everything, including the way you see yourself and your expectations for the future. When these types of thoughts overwhelm you, it's important to remember that this is a symptom of your depression, and these irrational, pessimistic attitudes, known as cognitive distortions, aren't realistic. When you really examine them, they don't hold up. But even so, they can be tough to give up. You can't break out of this pessimistic mind frame by telling yourself, just think positive. Often, it's part of a lifelong pattern of thinking that's become so automatic, you're not even completely aware of it. Rather, the trick is to identify the type of negative thoughts that are fueling your depression and replace them with a more balanced way of thinking. Negative, unrealistic ways of thinking that fuel depression are: number 1, all or nothing thinking. Looking at things in black or white categories with no middle ground. If everything is not perfect, I'm a total failure. Number 2, overgeneralization. Generalizing from a single negative experience, expecting it to hold true forever. I had a bad date. I'll never find anyone. Number 3, the mental filter. Ignoring positive events and focusing on the negative. Noticing the one thing that went wrong, rather than all the things that went right. I got the last question on the test wrong. I'm an idiot. Number 4, diminishing the positive. Coming up with reasons why positive events don't count. She said she had a good time on our date, but I think she was just being nice. Number 5, jumping to conclusions. Making negative interpretations without actual evidence. You act like a mind reader. He must think I'm pathetic. Or a fortune teller. I'll be stuck in this dead-end job forever. Number 6, emotional reasoning. Believing that the way you feel reflects reality. I feel like such a loser. Everyone must be laughing at me. Number 7, shoulds and should nots. Holding yourself to a strict list of what you should and shouldn't do, and beating yourself up if you don't live up to your rules. I should never have interviewed for that job. I'm an idiot for thinking I could get it. Number 8, labeling. Classifying yourself based on mistakes and perceived shortcomings. I'm a failure, an idiot, a loser. Once you identify the destructive thought patterns that contribute to your depression, you can start to challenge them with questions such as, what's the evidence that this thought is true? Not true? What would I tell a friend who had this thought? Is there another way of looking at the situation or an alternate explanation? How might I look at this situation if I didn't have depression? As you cross-examine your negative thoughts, you might be surprised at how quickly they crumble. In the process, you'll develop a more balanced perspective and help to relieve your depression.